Hi, I'm Coach Tracy Knight, and today's video is all about personal ownership. This is the third step in the forum, and it is the place where we are at a real turning point. For personal ownership to take place, what we have to have done is one, get all of our feelings out and get the ego and the mind soothed. Then we've got to identify what the root of the issue is. We begin to recognize that things are, maybe we're not following policies, or maybe we need to have some relationship standards. But now when we get to personal ownership, we begin to see that it's not all about what the other person did or did not do. In all situations, if we're a part of it, there is something we can glean from it. There's some level of accountability because we are in it. So there's something. It doesn't mean that you were wrong or bad, but it means it gives us an opportunity to look back on ourselves and to really see, how can we hold ourselves accountable? Where do we maybe need to make an amends to ourselves or other people? And how can we grow through this particular experience? So personal ownership is step 3 in the forum. Trust in any relationship is rebuilt through accountability with self and others, consistency, and changed behavior. Now, trust is the undergirding of all relationships, but for us to rebuild trust, we can't just say, I'm sorry. There has to be a change that is taking place. And part of that change taking place is recognizing what we as individuals can do differently. Sometimes we are so upset really with ourselves that just going through this process tells us what we need to do differently, how we need to engage in the relationship differently, how we need to speak up for ourselves differently. So just going through this personal ownership piece is not about accepting blame for everything, not at all. People are responsible for their actions or inactions, but it is about taking responsibility for your piece of the puzzle, your piece of the situation, even when others have a piece too, okay? So in this module, what I'd like for you to do is to ask yourself, what role did I play? Were there words that were spoken or never went spoken and needed to have been spoken, right? What about our attitude? Was there a perception, a disposition, a way that we showed up that had impact, that adversely affected the situation, including affecting us, affecting our self-esteem, our sense of self-worth? So it's not just about how we impacted other people, but how we impacted ourselves. Sometimes if we didn't speak up, that takes a ding to our own self-esteem and self-worth. So what about our attitude? What about our actions or inactions? Sometimes it's not that we did something, it's that we didn't do something. Okay, so what role did we play that we can now see that if I had just done this maybe a little differently, maybe we would have gotten a different outcome? What do I choose to do differently going forward? That is where we are now. We're not looking back to the past. That's over with. We took care of that during the vent and the soothing, okay? We were dealing with the past. Then we found out the root cause, so we put a plan in place to go forward. But what do you personally choose to do differently as you have more life experiences? Next, once you have figured out what you're going to do differently, it's time to surrender it. It's time to let go. And we do this through forgiveness and an amends. Forgiveness, as you have heard, is not for the other person. It is for you, so that you don't continue to carry the weight of the past with you. So forgiveness of self and others is a choice. It is a choice to release resentments, not the lesson that it taught you. Okay. And even releasing the resentment is sometimes a process. I definitely can relate to this. I can empathize with people about it not being a snap your fingers and you can release the resentment. Okay. Releasing it does not, so in other words, you may have to practice releasing. Every day you may have to get up and re-release it until it is gone. But the more you do that, because the resentment took hold because you were practicing resentment. You were practicing anger, so it took hold. So it may take a few times for you to release that. I also want to mention to you that forgiveness is not an agreement or an approval of the other person. It is not. It is choosing to move forward without carrying the past. And accountability and forgiveness can coexist. They can and they need to coexist in order for there to be healing, in order for them to be growth, in order for there to be growth, in order for there to be a path forward. So it is about forgiving, but the not forgetting is not about being punitive. It's not about holding them to who they used to be, because people do change. They can change. It is a choice. But it is about remembering the lesson that we were taught, not the judgment towards the person or personality. So the forgiveness practice that I want to offer, which is a very simple one, but you can do any number of ones. People pray, they meditate, they do any number of things to forgive, to practice the forgiveness. Sometimes it's just going to the person and making an amends. But I like Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian prayer that is about reconciliation. And it's very simple. And the thing is, you don't even have to have the person there to do it, because energetically, when we are putting ourselves in the state of forgiveness, that energetically is felt outward through, it resonates, it reverberates throughout the universe. So you don't even have to know who you are forgiving, but just simply that you are putting yourself in the place and asking your higher power of your own understanding to help guide you through this forgiveness. And so the prayer is very simple. It is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It is just that simple. Now, I want to share what those mean, though, the sentiment behind them. I'm sorry is just that I acknowledge my contribution and impact that I've had. Please forgive me, because we all need forgiveness, including forgiveness of ourselves, is seeking reconciliation and the opportunity to move forward. Please forgive me. Thank you is gratitude. I appreciate the lesson. I appreciate the growth. I appreciate the healing that has come from this experience. And I love you. Choose compassion, choose connection, choose respect for yourself and for others. That is the prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And just sit in that. Repeat that as many times as you feel like you need to, and sit with that. Okay? The next thing in the next module, we're going to be talking about gratitude. But I hope that so far you're starting to feel the energy shift for yourself. It's starting to lighten. You're starting to feel more balanced, more harmonic, because that is exactly what the forum is designed to do.